I finally have gotten around to it. The Vati video that Vati video reaction that I promised I would watch. Sorry it took so long to do this, but here we go. As requested, Elden Ring story is fascinating by Vati Video. Vati Video, if you're watching, I will take down my video if you care in any sort of fashion. But I love Vati Video's fucking voice. This dude serenades your ears. But nonetheless, let's continue. Welcome back to another video, ladies and gentlemen. Sending out a lot of love. This is Elden Ring story trailer. Is fascinating. If you want to send me any videos to react to, Twitter and Instagram are the best places first, and to keep updates, from me on there. And last but not least, a little spider. Last but not least, you can leave them in the comments. Other than that, if you want to donate to the channel, everything goes back into content creation, but it's totally your choice. But subscribe if you want to be a part of the Lunar Dynasty. And there we go. Let's continue. That felt way better than half of the other videos I shot today.
Every game by From Software starts with a cinematic trailer.
Yes, it
This
does.
is surely Elden Rings.
It happened an age ago.
She's talking about the shattering of the Elden Ring. An entire age has passed since then.
Yup, Aries.
But when I recall, I see it true.
This character, with 4 arms and this brittle, pale skin, was a witness.
On a night of wintry fog,
In a shot that's surely inspired by Lord of the Rings, 4 shrouded riders flee the scene. And if you played the network test, you might have even faced one of them. At night, on a bridge, this exact same shrouded horse and rider can be found and fought.
Ooh, that was so sick. What? You can parry them off the... Whoa, look at this.
Shrouded horse and rider can be found and fought.
Oh, I love that. I just love Dark
The rune
Souls.
of death
Always
is
loved
stolen.
Dark Souls. And
But here is where things get interesting.
Yep.
So runes are letters of a runic alphabet.
Yep.
And in fantasy, they're often markings of great power. The Elden Ring is actually made up of runes. Its tiniest pieces are a currency, like souls, but its larger shards are called great runes, and they are far more significant.
Okay.
Together, these great runes of the Elden Ring spell out a golden order for the world. Japanese descriptions clarify that it's a golden law. It's a logic for life to follow.
Okay.
Now, this golden order is broken to its core, and it all began when the rune of death was stolen. So
Okay.
what specifically...
The funny thing about that, so the rune of death was stolen. And you know what I just recalled as the rune of death was stolen? It actually makes me think about spoilers real quick. If you have not seen the Netflix series Castlevania, I will wave my hands like this for a moment and just to get the spoilers out the way. When I wave them again, I'll be done. So just look for that little moment where I'm like, spoilers over. But what I like is it's called the rune of death. And it was stolen, and that's upsetting the natural order of the world. I remember when Trevor Belmont ended up defeating death by the end of it. I think it was, yeah, pretty sure it was the end of it. He ended up defeating death, and I always think about this whole laws of nature and stuff, and it's really reminiscent of things in real life. There's an upset balance. The reason you see so many people awakening and getting into astrology and a lot of things like that is because the natural order was upset. So the story is very it's very divine, because divine being, we're making it, we're living it out through our creation. So art imitates reality sort of thing going on there. That's my take. And I wonder if he's about to say something like that. But oh shit, I should have waved at the end. Oh, now you're gonna probably miss the thing. Damn.
was the
Fuck it.
rune of death, and why was its theft important enough to spark the shattering?
I think it probably
Well,
handled
I think
death.
items in the network test actually hold the clue. In Elden Ring, there's an item called a holy pot. It's something you can peg at undead enemies to prevent them from rising after death. It reads, incantations of the Golden Order, or Golden Law, have been stored inside. The Golden Law has no mercy for those who trespass beyond life's bounds. And its Japanese description clarifies that the Golden Law does not permit the logic to live in death. So with the Rune of Death stolen from the Elden Ring, nothing is keeping the dead in their graves anymore.
Yup.
That law doesn't bind undeath.
So the natural
Proof
order
of this
does.
is in so much of the present game. Spirits are found all throughout the lands between, skeletons stand up from their graves, Even you, the Tarnished, you're called ye dead who yet live. In response to this lawless world, a group has even risen called the Golden Order Fundamentalists. They're people who try to enforce the old laws of the Elden Ring.
Okay.
One of their spells is Litany of Proper Death. It's an incantation that prevents undead enemies from coming back to life. So this golden law can still be applied. It's just not a universal truth anymore.
Okay, yeah.
While the Elden Ring was still whole and its laws were intact, the lands between were ruled by Queen Marika, the Eternal. Her being eternal suggests that the Elden Ring wasn't applying death to the Queen or her demigod children. Now that seems set to change, because the Rune of Death has been stolen.
Exactly. So now the natural order is like out of whack in this universe.
The demigods began to fall.
Surely it's no coincidence that only now death is being served to Marika's demigod children. A thief holds the Rune of Death, and it's being used.
Starting with Godwyn the Golden.
In Dark Souls, all of Gwyn's children start with the same name prefix, Gwendolyn, Guinevere, so on. Just so, all of Queen Marika's children appear to have names that start with the God prefix. So far we know of two others. There's Godric, a demigod boss at the end of Stormvale Castle. Godfrey, who we haven't seen yet, but who ruled over his own age. And now there's Godwyn the Golden. A shadow looms over Godwyn, and it kind of looks like a person holding a large weapon. When they retreat, they take the light with them, and in the darkness, emerging from the strangely shaped wound on his back, this writhing force under his skin worms its way around their body and towards their eyes. With this, Godwyn seems to live again after death. As we mentioned earlier, undeath is possible now, though we have no idea who he serves. And while all of this is going on,
Queen Marika was driven to the brink.
But she doesn't seem to have been killed, yet. We, as Tarnished, are even able to resurrect at her statues, which to me suggests that she's still a force in the world, and that she has an affection, or at least a use, for the Tarnished. In the scene to follow, her crown is set upon an empty throne. I say it's hers because this main throne is surrounded and faced by 5, maybe 6 other smaller thrones.
That's a smart catch.
These likely belong to each of her demigod children.
Oh, nice.
But her
catch.
throne itself is embossed with countless depictions of the Erd Tree. And we need to mention the Erd Tree briefly because it is a symbol of Queen Marika's power, way more than the Elden Ring is.
The tree reminds me so much of Yggdrasil.
In my opinion. The age before the Shattering is called the Age of the Erd Tree. After all, it's not called the Age of the Elden Ring. The Elden Ring is at the source of the Erd Tree's power, and it's the Erd Tree and Marika's family that seems to direct that power, delivering golden grace to certain folk in the lands between and spurning others. But again, we talk about that more in a different video. This scene is clearly meant to symbolize an absence of that power now that the Shattering War has begun. And the last to leave this throne room is Margit, the Fell Omen. This is clearly him. He's the main boss in Elden Ring's network test. He's the guardian of Stormvale Castle, and now perhaps he's also a servant.
Oh, that's cool. I just looked at that. So this was the trailer. I think I haven't watched the trailer in a while, but he's leaving. He's putting the crown down and leaving, and it's almost like when you come upon like fighting the boss fight, I'm assuming. I wonder if there's different variations of how you can catch him, like at the top of the stairs or maybe just this area. Could you imagine how cool that would be? You fight him in that place, or if you get there at a certain part of the game, you catch him walking down, or her. What was it? Was it him or her?
This is clearly him.
Oh, him.
He's the main boss in Elden Ring's network test.
Catch him.
He's the
catch him like leaving the castle as he
guardian of Stormvale Castle,
that's
and
pretty cool.
Now perhaps he's also a servant of Marika's royal family. The Elden Ring Twitter revealed that the curse marks he bore from birth were another ominous sign for the royal family. So this proves that he was close to them, and it explains his name. Margit was a fell omen for Marika's royal family. He was a sign of the terrible things to come.
So
The Shattering and
his mutated form is probably that's not how he looked.
The Elden Ring was broken. But by whom? And why?
So whoever broke the
Chaos.
Elden Ring hasn't publicly revealed themselves, even now. They might not have even made a play for its power. It follows then that they're perfectly happy to just watch
It's
chaos
chaos.
unfold. The Great Rune of
Yep.
Death is just one part of the puzzle, remember? Imagine how many other laws have been thrown into disarray. Now, these estranged demigods hold other great runes, and they're warring amongst each other, so why interfere?
Yeah.
What could the demigods ever hope to win by warring?
This scene is so incredible, the absolute scale of it. Under the shadow of a very sad-looking Erd tree is
Yeah,
a fortress that has
that's it.
statues of tree sentinels, which is this boss from the network test.
Oh,
Besieging this castle is a force that would be familiar to you if you played the network test. These soldiers
I wish I
and
played.
giants are all seen throughout Limgrave, and the lion heraldry on these soldiers marks them as warriors of
Warriors of
Godric,
God.
one of Marika's demigod children, and the ruler of Stormvale Castle. He's clearly waging a war here against a city of the Erd Tree, which is surely a place that would have been his former home. According to the Elden Ring Twitter, Godric was born a weakling child, and he coveted the strength of his kin. His kingdom is still at war long past the Shattering, and he clings to his ruined legacy, the ruler of a husk wrung dry by war. Clearly,
Okay.
he wields a lot of power.
So that's the thing. So he's like, it's like gonna be like the whole family thing, trauma within it, backstories between little like in that like stirring stuff between each of them, and like the whole chaos that ensued just basically was like the what is it, like the little fuel to the fire that kicked off warring against each other. It was like these little things between their family must have existed, or little sparks of darkness in each of them that like maybe they wanted this certain amount of power and stuff like that. And so the person who shattered the Elden Ring was like, they just want chaos, so by shattering the Elden Ring they probably had some knowing of what it would cause between the, like they must have known some of the little, I don't want to call them like, is affairs aren't just, yeah, like the little probably family arguments and stuff that go on. And it was like,
But
a
that power
weakling
is
child,
waning.
like,
Godric's claim as the rightful Golden King is not wholly uncontested. There are those who plot to see his crown pass into more worthy hands.
yeah, see,
So even after the Shattering,
So probably
powerful
is.
individuals still remain. Like these two.
Yup. And then this was such a cool like scene. Holy moly. I forgot what her name is and his name. He was like the
The conqueror of the stars.
yeah, conqueror of the
General
stars, and Melina the Severed, or Malenia, the Blade of Mikela.
And the
So
blade
dope.
of Mikela,
Mikela.
the seventh.
Melina the
First
Severed.
thing here, very important.
So badass.
General Radahn has
Look
a
at
goddamn horse between his legs. Did you notice that?
Oh,
One sad horse. Lucky for the horse, I guess, Radahn appears to have power over gravity. When you cast spells in Elden Ring, the class of spell is actually revealed by a
By the
symbol that pops up.
Oh, that's
And the
sick.
symbol for gravitational sorcery is revealed here. And look, it's the exact same symbol that is
Oh.
embossed onto his blades.
That's sick.
The purple
That's
glow
such
between his
cool
blades is
detail.
even the same purple that gravitational sorcery gets. For example, just look at the meteorite spell. The meteorite item description reads, meteorites held the same import as stars, and Radahn is clearly capable of channeling that cosmic power.
yeah.
Remember the first trailer we ever saw?
Why do they have him on that small ass horse? That is for real a sad horse.
That which commanded the stars.
The Elden Ring commanded the stars, and General Radahn conquered them. I guess that would make him a warrior of the Elden Ring, but we can't be sure yet. Stars are so important
Conquer
to
the
Elden Ring's
stars.
lore, and in another video we'll
In
talk
our
about
lore
the
too.
age of cosmic power that came before the age of the Erd Tree. But for now, just know that this age did exist long ago, before the Elden Ring commanded the stars. Anyway, back to the Shattering.
These two were the mightiest to remain, and locked
Locked
horns
horns
in
in
combat.
I like seeing what she did when she sprouted.
He hacks off
so
Melania's
cool.
prosthetic arm, but she snatches the blade that was attached to that arm out of thin air
So
and
cool.
uses her own body weight to force it deeper into Radahn's flesh. While doing this, I notice she's muttering something.
Yeah.
An incantation, maybe?
Oh, I never noticed this before. She shoved the blade into him and also stabbed it into her. I don't know if I did a reaction of this and said that and pointed it out, but it's cool. She almost like probably like has some like blood magic or something, or blood related, because while she's muttering the incantation, I realized that about the blood, and I wanted to say it in the other video. That's what I meant to say. I wanted to say it in the other video. Sorry for smacking my mic. Sorry, this is just I'm so expressive when it comes to Elden Ring. I wish I played the network thing, but yeah. And then this
I
thing
do think
blooms.
it's Melania who summons this orange lotus that snakes in from behind her, envelops her, and appears to teleport her away, perhaps.
Oh, it
But
really?
there would be no victor.
We get to fight Melania later on, so obviously she survives this encounter, but I'm not so sure
Yikes.
that Radahn does. While the dialogue implies that neither of them loses this fight, remember in the first trailer we saw Radahn get struck by this Lance Knight on horseback, and then later we see him standing with life energy sort of pouring out of him. So maybe there's more to this cutscene that we haven't yet seen, but for now, here's the finale.
If we have to fight him,
And
that'd be
so
crazy.
we inhabit a fractured world.
This character is the storyteller. Wait, that's my job. Anyway, on her right is a projection of herself. It speaks at the
is
same
cool.
moment she does. It's a mirror image that shares her right eye. And what's fascinating about this is that Melina, our maiden, also has a closed eye with a marking. Some people have pointed out that this marking is on Melina's left eye, whereas this storyteller has the marking on her right eye. But remember, the Melina we see is an apparition. She's a spirit. She appears out of a blue ghostly form.
So almost like she is the right side manifesting itself in the physical to help you.
Which means that she might actually be closer to this phantom storyteller rather than the real one. Therefore, the marking on the real Melina might have actually been on the right side, just like it is for the storyteller. If that makes sense.
That's
Anyway,
a
her
badass
saying
catch.
that the world has been fractured in
That's
this
badass.
scene is likely not a coincidence, you know. Characters like Melina and this storyteller are stuck in a sort of limbo between life and death. They are fractured. They have spirit versions of themselves.
Awaiting the arrival of the Elden Lord.
But then she says perhaps something else though, right?
Unless, of course,
Yeah, unless of course.
thou shouldst take the crown.
The last thing the storyteller suggests is that we might take the crown and the title of the Elden Lord. Now, I have 2 upcoming lore videos that talk about Melina's eye marking and what the title of Elden Lord means, and so much more. The lore of Elden Ring is so fascinating. Look at the mind map I've made. There's already so much here to discuss and understand, so please do subscribe because I can't wait to share it with you. If you're a $3 patron, keep an eye out. I'll be uploading these lore videos in early access very soon. So if that's something you'd like to see early, consider becoming a patron. But if not, subscribe, because these videos should be edited and available for everyone in a couple of weeks. I'll see you then. I'm gonna go sleep now.
VaatiVidya's videos always warm my fucking heart. Oh my gosh. I don't know what it is. Like his writing, the structure of the video, how he puts them together really well. Like, big shout outs to him. Definitely go subscribe to him. I love his Prepare to Cry videos too. When I was going, oh, my big ass Dark Souls phase. I've been following Dark Souls for as long as I can remember. It actually so funny that last year when I first got into like Critical Role in D&D and everything just started coming, and now I've got freaking tons of dice and stuff, and like I'm freaking world building to make my own one shot and putting a bunch of lore and stuff in it. I just thought it was funny that Dark Souls is getting like a D&D tabletop now this year. Or there's like basically a D&D Dark Souls thing coming soon. That'd be crazy to have a lot of the enemies. Is there enough in D&D's? I mean, there could, or in Dark Souls universe to add to the D&D lore, like to add it on. That'd be crazy. But Again, really good video. I had no idea what I was talking about here by the end. I didn't know, like, she said she's waiting for the arrival of the Elden lore, and then said unless thou should take the crown. So that's basically what I was talking about. I thought there was like a different option, like reject the crown or take it or whatever. I wonder how many like endings there will be. But yeah, great video. That's what I noticed about the spells here. Yeah, I love how I had a perfect frame. I had such a perfect frame right there. Let's get it again. I love that. I love how the type of school it's from pops up with the glyph in the air. That's cool. That's so cool. That's a nice little detail. Litany of a proper death. It's gonna be fun. This is gonna be fun to play. And I think I don't know if I want to say this. I don't know if there really is anybody with like a problem with it. I guess I would like to just voice how appreciative I am that they kind of followed the if it's not broke, don't fix it. Or I think that's the saying. I've said it in a couple videos. Still don't know to this day if I'm saying it right. But if it's not broke, don't fix it. Which is like when you really like, this could be used in multiple things, not just like video games. It could be in like relationships or stuff like that, or people even. It like, first of all, yeah, you shouldn't try to fix anyone who doesn't, want to. They gotta let people fix themselves. Don't know why I threw that in there, but the point is I like that the gameplay is very, very similar to the Dark Souls games, just like the rest of From Software's work. Like, and they almost like added onto it. Well, it's exactly what they did, but what I mean is like it's almost like they added. I don't know how much because I haven't seen too much of the game. So when I say almost added on, it's just a reason I'm saying it for just me to like basically understand. But for the most part, I'm just glad that it's really Dark Souls-ish, and it doesn't bother me in any way that they've added more mechanics on top of what already looks like the previous games. Like, I feel like that is the best formula to follow because the other games were just so good to me. Yes, including Dark Souls 2, but that's just a little joke, but inside joke for the community. But yeah, for the most part, I'm kind of glad that they didn't go outside. Message going crazy. At 4:44 p.m. Funny repetitive number. Anyways, okay. Shout out to VaatiVidya again. Love how he broke this down. This is dope. And I can't wait to see more. I'll be on the lookout. But unless another one gets sent to me, I probably won't react to anything really VaatiVidya. I remember when I did before and someone was a VaatiVidya reaction. That's rare. But yeah, I'll watch anything anybody wants to hear some of my little inputs on. And I actually care about what I'm watching. So much love and light though. All right, see you guys in the next one.